The late 19th and early 20th centuries were a period of imperial expansion, nationalistic fervor, and intricate alliances. As nations competed for global influence, two major factions emerged. On one hand, we had the Central Powers, a powerful alliance formed by Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. On the other hand, we had the Entente Powers, a formidable coalition of France, Russia, and the United Kingdom. In this volatile global stage, a single event would prove to be the catalyst that would ignite the powder keg. The year was 1914, and Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was assassinated. This act of violence would not only shake the foundations of Austria-Hungary, but would also send shockwaves through the intricate network of alliances, triggering a domino effect that would lead the world into war. With tensions high and alliances drawn, the world was on the brink of a catastrophic war. The summer of 1914 saw the start of a war unlike any before. As the world watched in anticipation and fear, strategies and plans quickly sprung into action. Germany, for example, launched the Schlieffen Plan, a bold strategy designed to swiftly knock France out of the war before turning their attention to Russia. However, the plan was fraught with miscalculations and failed to deliver the quick victory Germany had hoped for. This failure led to the infamous battles on the Western Front, characterized by a bloody stalemate and the horror of trench warfare. Among the most significant of these was the Battle of Marne, where French and British forces managed to halt the German advance, marking a crucial turning point in the war. Meanwhile, on the Eastern Front, the conflict was equally unforgiving. Here, the battles were larger in scale, and the loss of life was enormous. Yet despite the high casualties, neither side could claim a clear victory. Beyond the land, the war also raged at sea. Naval forces clashed in epic battles, with each side trying to disrupt the other's trade routes and supply chains. The most notable of these was the Battle of Gallipoli, a campaign that resulted in a hard-fought victory for the Allies, but at a tremendous cost. But the First World War was not just a clash of armies, it was a clash of technology. For the first time, tanks rumbled across the battlefield and poison gas filled the air. These new weapons, combined with the brutal reality of trench warfare, resulted in a conflict that was more destructive and deadly than anything the world had seen before. By 1916, the war had turned into a deadly stalemate, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. The world would have to wait and see how this unprecedented conflict would finally resolve itself. The entry of the United States in 1917 tipped the scales in favor of the Allies. As the final year of the war dawned, both sides were poised for a decisive showdown. The German Spring Offensive, a series of attacks along the Western Front, marked the beginning of the end. Yet, despite initial gains, the German forces couldn't maintain momentum, and the tide once again turned. The Allies, reinvigorated and bolstered by fresh American troops, launched their response. The 100 Days Offensive, a relentless series of attacks that pushed the Germans back inch by painful inch. The end was in sight. Then, on the 11th day of the 11th month, 1918, the guns fell silent. The armistice was signed, and the war that had raged for over 4 years was finally over. The cost of the war was immense, with millions of lives lost and entire nations left in ruins. The end of the war did not mean the end of its impact. In the aftermath, the Treaty of Versailles was signed, a controversial document that led to significant geopolitical shifts. It bore terms that were seen by many as excessively punitive, particularly towards Germany. The world map was redrawn as new nations were born and empires crumbled. The war's effects rippled outwards, influencing politics, society, and culture for decades to come. The political landscape was forever altered, with ideologies like communism gaining traction. Society was irrevocably changed as the war broke down old class structures, and culture was never the same as artists sought to express the horrors they had witnessed. Most significantly, the seeds of future conflicts were sown, setting the stage for an even more devastating conflict: World War II. The First World War, a conflict that reshaped the world, remains a poignant reminder of the cost of war.